Scrolling along with Susan here. Today I'm going to be making a collapsible dollhouse or a slot dollhouse. It's a toy that they can actually create the dollhouse and have fun building it. And it will also be functional for their little 5-inch dolls. And you can make this dollhouse any size that you want. You can use it for 11.5-inch dolls or smaller dolls. But these are the size that my granddaughters have, and this is the size that I wanted to work with. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. And if you like what you see, click that like button and subscribe to my channel. If you're lucky enough to have someone cut your 16-inch squares before you start, that's great. But a lot of us have 4x8 sheets of plywood that we have cut in half. I have a 4x4. It's still too large to put on my table saw. So I use a jigsaw. And I mark it at 16 inches and cut the whole 4-foot piece that way, and then I can get pieces from that. And if you don't have a table saw, you don't want to take it over to the table saw after that, you can use the jigsaw for the full 16-inch square cutting. You know, my hand is far enough away from this blade that I didn't need my push block, but I just held on to it just in case. I'm going to be using this Christmas tree here for my next example on what I'm going to be doing with these two pieces of 16-inch square plywood. So what I want to do is I want to make a dollhouse that they can have fun designing or putting it together themselves. So I'm going to be using these two pieces to fit in slot-wise so that I can have a 4-sided dollhouse. I hope that makes sense. So what I have done is I drew a line at 8 inches right in the center of the board. Remember, it's 16 inches square. And then I took 8 inches this direction and drew a line like 1/16 of an inch on each side, so they will each equal 1/8 of an inch. And I did that on both boards, so when I put them together, they will slide right in here together. The one I'm going to be doing 8 inches, the other one I'm going to do 7.5, and we will see if I need to do it all the way to 8 inches, because I want it to fit perfectly, and this is the first time I've done this, so we'll see how it goes. You will be able to get much more accurate with a table saw, but you could do this on the scroll saw. So I am lining this up about perfect with my first line over here, and then I will move it just slightly, like a 1/16 of an inch further. The actual blade is about a 1/16 inch thick. So 2 slices of this and it should be able to fit about perfect, and I'm going to test it too. Make sure that after your first cut you wait for the blade to completely stop before taking it out and cutting once again. Also, I realized that I needed to cut both pieces at 8 inches deep in order for them to fit perfectly. I thought it might have been 7.5 or 3/4, but nope, it's a full 8 inches on both pieces. Now they're both at 8 inches, and it should fit pretty nicely. Yay! Here's my design that I'll be cutting out on my scroll saw that will fit on the top part of the 4-sided castle, I guess, if you want to call it that, because it kind of looks like a castle. So I'm going to put down contact paper, and then I'm going to spray the back side with glue and attach it to the contact paper. So I need to drill pilot holes in all the insides so that I may cut them out on my scroll saw. So here we are. I'm using a drill press, but you don't have to. You can use a regular hand drill with the appropriate size for drilling the holes. So here we go. It doesn't matter what size drill bit you use, as long as it's large enough that you can use your scroll saw blade with, and it's small enough that it will not be larger than the holes that you're going to be drilling. I will be starting with the inside cuts first to make sure that they turn out the way that I want them to. And then I will start where I have this pilot hole here on this side and cut the outlines first, and then I'll go back and cut the very ends, because I want the piece to have stability with the rest of the wood still here instead of being so loose when I'm cutting the rest of the outline. I'm using a number 5 blade by Flying Dutchman. I also use Pegasus blades. I find those two to be the best. So I'm going to be weeding through. I'm starting in the middle just for stability's sakes. Tightening it up, checking the pink, and I'm ready to roll. I would recommend making your lines a little bit thinner than what I did. I got off a little bit on the thicker part of the black line and had to go back and even it out quite a few times. So I would suggest you make the lines just a little bit thinner. Make sure you're using light pressure on the wood against the table so that it doesn't pop up on you, and try to make it nice and smooth your cutting. If you have to go into the waist section of it to come back in at a sharper angle, then do so. Whatever you need to do to make it look nice. After all your cutting is done, it is crucial to round off all the sharp edges so no one gets hurt on them, and to sand everything nice and smooth. I'm going to be using 1/8 inch plywood and cutting 1.5 inches to 1.5 inch pieces so I can put it on either side here with a cut in the middle, and that will go on the top of my castle. Here I'm back at the table saw cutting those 1.5 inch pieces. Remember, you can use a jigsaw or your scroll saw for this. It just won't be as accurate of a cut. Now I'm going to place them approximately where I'm going to be gluing them up and marking the spot that is going to actually fit on top of the dollhouse. And then I'm cutting them out on this table, or excuse me, the scroll saw. And now it's time to glue up both pieces and putting some pressure on it and letting it dry. And then on to the next step. I'm making some pass-through doors to connect to the other side. I will round off the door here. And I'm going to be making some windows, and I'm going to put them at the top part. You could make this 2-story if you want. You could make it 1-story. It depends on what size the dolls are. If they're 11.5 inch dolls, you'll need to make the door bigger. But if they're the smaller size dolls, which this one will be, then this door will be the right size. Here I'm just cutting out the windows and the 2 doors. And it's going to be on the same piece, as you can see, because it's going to be, one side's going to be on the blue side, one's going to be on the pink side, and it's all going to balance out, and you'll see how that works. And this is the door that I'm cutting out here. Now that I have all my scroll saw work done on my pieces, it's time to seal the wood. I'm just using white acrylic gesso, 2 coats of it, and then I'll be painting the pink and the blue sides. And then I'm going to get down to some drawing on each room. I'm drawing in a kitchen area and also a bedroom dresser. I did a lot more drawing on the sides of each unit that I did not put on the recording, but you'll see them later on. As for paints and markers and pens, I used them all to get all the detail that I wanted on each side. After all of the painting is done, it's going to be critical to seal all of this. You can use lacquer, you can use acrylic, you can use enamel, clear enamel. It's really your choice. Here are my 3 main pieces to the dollhouse, and let's put it together and see what it looks like. Slides together rather easily here. And I'm going to put the pink side with the pink walls. Can easily be done by children. And that's all there is to it. I have a 4-sided dollhouse. Here's a tour of the finished dollhouse. On this side I have a bedroom, and I have made a bed, and I'll show that in a short tutorial later. This is the blue side with the pass-through door. Same on the blue side, I have a kitchen, and I'll be making some different things that we can put, like a kitchen table and chairs over here later on. This side has that doll that I was showing you before, and this is like a sitting room, or it could be a bedroom. And then the final side, let's see if I can get a good angle on it here, has got the fireplace, another pass-through door on the pink side. And this is the grand tour. I decided not to use a base on it. That way you can put it on the carpeting and have a carpeted floors, or put it on flooring or a tabletop and have a hardwood floor. I thought that worked out a little bit better. I've had a lot of fun creating and designing this dollhouse. The big test is going to be Christmas morning when my granddaughters open it up. I hope they have just as much fun building the dollhouse and playing with it as I had creating it. If you like what you see, click that like button and subscribe to my channel. Till next time, thanks for watching.